Mariners win 6-5. They improve to 59-53 on the season, and they've taken the first two games against the Philadelphia Phillies. Go over the scoring plays. First inning, Alec Boehm grounds out to third to score Kyle Schwarber, 1-0 in the middle of the first. Fifth inning, Alec Boehm singles to center to score Austin Hayes and Kyle Schwarber, 3-0, and then Brandon Marsh singles to right to score Trey Turner and Alec Boehm. It's 5-0 in the middle of the fifth. Mitch Haniger homers to left center in the fifth to make it 5-1. In the sixth inning, the Mariners get four. I almost said Placido Polanco, maybe because I have the Phillies on my mind right now. Jorge Polanco singles to right to score Randy Arozarena. Luke Raley doubles to score Trey Turner and Jorge Polanco. And Josh Rojas reaches on an infield single to score Mitch Haniger. Raley is just out at the plate to make it 5-5 at the end of the sixth. And in the 10th inning, Mitch Haniger, with the bases loaded, draws a walk to make it a 6-5 Mariner win. I am just pumped. Not all wins are equal. How many times have I said that? This is one of those ones. Oh, it feels good. It feels good. What we always do, if you're new to the channel and you're saying, Chris, why are you starting with the negative? This is what we always do. And it seems to work. We start with the negative when they win. When they lose, we start with the positive and finish with the negative. When they win, we start with the negative and we'll finish with all of these positives. So, the negatives from this game, and I think there are a few. Not the overall takeaway, but there are a few. Boy, this hat is just screwed up, but I'm wearing my Luck of the Irish hat, and it worked out. Bryce Miller wasn't great. He had a struggle in the first. He looked really good in the second and the third. Fourth and the fifth were pretty rough. And then Tayler Saucedo didn't get the job done when he came in to replace him. Gets the one out, and then struggled. Tayler Saucedo has not looked very good as of late. We'll talk about the rest of the bullpen, but that's a little concerning. There's not really a lefty I'm trusting in this bullpen right now. Be great for Gabe Spire to go get right in Tacoma, because tough to trust Tayler Saucedo as anything more than a middle inning reliever. Now, your other relievers are so good at getting hitters out that maybe it doesn't matter, but it would be nice to have. Offensively, Victor Robles was due for a bad game. Didn't have this best day. Justin Turner had a pretty rough one. Didn't come up clutch in a couple situations. It's tough to be too mad about a guy who hit a grand slam yesterday and I think looked pretty darn good, but did hit into a big double play and popped out in the 10th inning. It's fine. Mitch Garver. Yeah. Loved the ovation he got at the game. Good for you, Seattle Mariner fans. Good for you, but another tough game, unfortunately. I root for every Mariner to get a hit. I don't know if I could have rooted any harder for Mitch Garver. And he did hit a line drive to center field. Just didn't work out. You know what always works out is shopping at Simply Seattle, because if you use code MOLLYWOP15, you save 15% off your order. And it's not just good for Mariner stuff, guys. It's good for stuff if you want something for the Kraken or the Seahawks or the Supersonics or the Storm or the Sounders or the Tacoma Rainiers or Ballard FC. Any of those teams, I can never remember if it's FC Ballard or Ballard FC, but you can get it, and they have a really good logo. You can find it all. Use code MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWHOP15. It automatically takes 15% off your order. They are great people. Support a local business. Support the show by showing that you are paying attention. I cannot appreciate the support enough, and I can't appreciate the support from Simply Seattle enough. So, good stuff. This win is good stuff, baby. Man, oh man, we got to talk about the bullpen after Saucedo because it was phenomenal. JT Chagua, awesome debut, kept you in the game. Was he a strike-throwing machine? Nope, but he doesn't give up a hit, and he gives you an inning and a third of quality relief. Yimi Garcia, was he a strike-throwing machine? You bet your sweet bippy he wasn't, but he's able to get through a very tough part of the order. Loved the usage there of Yimi Garcia. Austin Voth, phenomenal. Now, we have had issues with Austin Voth, and Some people brought it up that, hey, in the toughest of situations, he hasn't been great. Boy, that was a big situation, and he was really good. You're not wrong for bringing it up. I just want to make that abundantly clear. But Austin Voth was terrific tonight. Andres Munoz walks one batter, but then gets a couple of strikeouts. We'll talk. I guess we got to talk about it. But let me just finish this. And Colin Snyder, man, oh man, Colin Snyder has just been awesome. A unsung hero to be sure, because the Mariners have needed Colin Snyder. It's worth pointing out the Mariners didn't believe in Colin Snyder. They sent him down a couple of times for much less effective relievers like Cody Bolton and Eduardo Bizardo. Oops. Go take a look at Colin Snyder's Savant page. It's phenomenal. He doesn't qualify for anything yet, but he's been as good as anybody. His chase rate and his ability to miss barrels is elite. It's a smaller sample for sure, but he's been terrific. What a great job. And I was worried because he issues that walk, and then he was just lights out after that. Couple strikeouts, a weak pop-up. I mean, I know reliever ERA is flawed, but this is a guy with a reliever ERA now of 1.31. You take a look at some of these reliever ERAs, even with Saucedo struggles, 3.03. 1.5 for JT Chargois. Yimi Garcia, 2.38. Austin Voth, 3.22. Andres Munoz is 1.22. And then 1.31 for the aforementioned Colin Snyder. This bullpen has been way better than I think some of us thought after the injuries. And they have not gotten a single pitch out of Matt Brash, and they won't. And they've gotten very little out of Gregory Santos. And who the heck knows when he's coming back? I do know that the MRI on his, according to Justin Hollander, and he wouldn't make this up, obviously, the MRI came back solid. So it sounds like they're just kind of playing the waiting game. But an unbelievably good job from the bullpen. Unbelievable. Randy Rosarina with a couple of doubles. Love to see it. Big Dumper draws a couple of walks. One of them intentional. I was very surprised by that. But I got it a little more when I saw, okay, Justin Turner right on right. And then you got Jason Vossler coming to the plate. So it made a little more sense. But that's the fear. The fear of the Big Dumper, baby. Luke Raley had a massive 2-run hit. Massive. Getting them in that game was, it's 5-2 before that double. This brings in a couple of runs, makes it 5-4, and you're feeling so much more confident. Josh Rojas with a nice day, reaches a couple of times, does have a couple strikeouts, but puts the ball in play to get that run home. And boy, Luke Raley, boy, that was close. I think they made the right call. Mitch Haniger looks like a completely different player as of late, and it's awesome to see. Now, am I relying on Mitch Haniger to be an everyday player right now? Absolutely not. And when Julio comes back, you probably are just platooning him a designated hitter, right? But boy, oh boy, and look, we'll talk about the walk, but the homer, getting on 4 times, like this guy was among the worst hitters in baseball, and his line of 213, 301, 360 is still well below average, especially when you add in the fact that he's not a good defensive player, right? But he just looks different, and I'm kind of not surprised. Now, this takes a little bit of hindsight, but are you surprised that Mitch Haniger has been really motivated? And, motivation can only do you so far. Talent weighs more. But are you really surprised that Mitch Haniger has worked his tail off to become a much more competent hitter as of late? And I mean, much more competent hitter. He just looks different. Oh, Jorge Polanco, big RBI single, gets a couple more hits. Great to see him back in the lineup after missing a day. You're always going to have injury concerns, I think, with this guy, but I hate ending it with this, but just give me a challenge system. Because the Mariners were fortunate tonight. Now, they also had some issues, and the Mariners have gotten the wrong end of the stick as often as they've gotten the right end of it. In fact, I would argue more. And maybe that's just me being a biased Mariner fan, but a couple of just atrocious calls tonight. Atrocious. Mitch Haniger should have struck out twice in that at bat, but he didn't. But he should have. Bryce Harper should have walked. Bryce Harper should have walked to make it first and second with 2 outs in the 9th inning. A terrific frame job by Big Dumper, but man, oh man, we need a challenge system in baseball so bad. And by baseball, I obviously in the major leagues. And hopefully we can get the automated system soon enough because these guys just aren't good enough. It's too hard of a job. But I don't want to harp on that too much because this is an awesome win. And the fight that they showed in this game. And I know there are a lot of Scott Service haters. And not hater in the way like they don't want to see success from him. They just disdain Scott Service. There are a ton of them. I see them because, unfortunately, I have quite a few followers on Twitter. I see them on this comment thing. I even saw some people suggesting that he should have been fired after the sweep to the Angels. And, you know, if they would have done it, I wouldn't have criticized it all that much. So I'm not pointing that out. But I will again say, you cannot deny that Scott Service has not done a terrific job. Scott Service has done an absolutely outstanding job of keeping this team always in the game. Heck, I noticed it when they were down 12-1 against Boston. They didn't quit. They ended up losing by 7, but they didn't quit. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. Of course, you have to credit the players too. Obviously, 100% you have to give credit to the players. But you have to give some credit to Scott Service for this team never backing down. And they didn't back down tonight. Tonight would have been an easy one to back down. You get the thumping. You're down 5-0. You know, you get the chance to win the series tomorrow. It would have been easy to not lay down, but just like accept your fate a little bit. Maybe that's the same thing, but I think you know what I mean. Scott Service never has this team doing that. I thought this was a terrifically managed game, both in terms of keeping the team in the game and using the bullpen in the absolute right way tonight. Awesome job. And look, I will criticize Scott Service when it's necessary. I think I threw a pretty big tissy fit after Wednesday's game, didn't I? Tonight was awesome. And now you get the chance for the sweep. And it will be hard because Zach Wheeler's a really good pitcher. But you know who else is good? Logan Gilbert. And Logan Gilbert is pretty due for a great start. His last 2 have not been phenomenal. Yes, he got hurt by his defense in that first start after the All-Star break, but he got his you-know-what kicked on Monday. I think that he's going to have this team ready. And Scott Service is going to have this team. I think Logan Gilbert's going to shove tomorrow. Great win. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Really appreciate the support. We'll do another live chat on Tuesday for, we might do Wednesday instead. I'll talk to you, my Y enthusiast. $4.99 to join. Really appreciate it, guys. This was a fun victory in a terrific baseball game.